business is still going on out there. And look, the Mets have a managerial opening. The A's have a managerial opening. Bob Melvin moving over to the Padres. For the Mets, looking at some big names here. Bob Guerin was bench coach there during the successful days with Terry Collins, and he's had wild success with the Dodgers. Buck Showalter is our colleague here at MLB Network, and of course he has a tremendous track record through the decades. Let's go back to John Morosi. John, where do you think the Mets are, and what are they thinking?
Brian, a hire is very possible before Christmas time, the Mets believe right now. And one name I want to draw your attention to at the bottom of that screen, Clayton McCullough. He spent this past year as the Dodgers' first base coach, his 7th year with the Dodgers overall. Spent a lot of time as their minor league field coordinator. A really interesting candidate, just 41 years old. But BK, he's been managing or coaching for 15 years. Yes, he began at the age of 26 in the Toronto Blue Jays organization. So he's a very young candidate with a ton of experience. You think about the Dodgers, they've had a lot of managerial prospects there. George Lombard is one more. Now, of course, is with the Detroit Tigers. But they've been such a successful organization. A lot of teams are looking to the Dodgers for their new manager. Now, Oakland, the other team looking for a manager at the moment, I can confirm they have interviewed Will Venable and Mark Kotsay as well. We've heard Joe Espada's name linked to both the Mets and A's searches. And again, Oakland with Mark Kotsay, very familiar there for many, many years as a player and a coach. They could decide by Christmas as well.
John, thank you so much. I'm thinking so many things rattling through my head now because Buck Showalter's, his credentials are, unparalleled. Again, but a lot of times, you try to go younger. Do you want to go to a younger guy? Bob Guerin, I mentioned, last time he was with the Mets, they were in the World Series. He's done nothing but win with the Dodgers as the bench coach, which is normally the place where you want to pluck a future manager from. What do you think the best fit is?
Well, I think the best fit's Buck Showalter because of this. You don't go out and spend the money they spent this winter and starting with Lindor, to have a guy come in and say, hey, let me figure it out maybe. You want to know what you're doing. And the investment here is we're winning a championship. This isn't a team that's 2 or 3 years away. This is a club that's got to win right now. And I think they've got so many moving parts with bullpen, with getting to know your players. And again, I come back to this lockout, and I'll turn right back to you in a second here. But with this lockout, your manager doesn't get to talk to your players.
Right.
So you sign Marte, you sign Scherzer, you can't have conversation. What does Max Scherzer like to do in spring training? How do you get through a season healthy? How do you and DeGrom get along? I don't know. I can't talk to you.
Right.
That's important for this period of time right now.
I would think, I don't know. Normally, I like going to the young whippersnapper, new kid with the new technology. I love that stuff. In this case, though, there seemed to be some cultural issues on the field. The thumbs down. Things got loose out with the team where, hey, they're talking about some phantom hitting coach. There's a mess. I feel like experience would be important here to get everybody on the same page. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the wild card is the owner. And we lived through the George Steinbrenner years. And Cohen's got a little Steinbrenner in him.
A little, not that much.
As far as spending money and expecting it, how he runs his businesses, he expects people to be grown-ups.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to call the dugout like Mr. Steinbrenner used to do, but if you invest the money, you want that. Bob Guerin is intriguing to me as well because of what he's done in L.A., and he's managed before, but that time he spent sitting next to Dave Roberts has been valuable. What Bob Guerin has done. And here's the last thing, I'll throw it real quick on this. You grow and change. You don't stay the same. A lot of people look at Bob Guerin and go, yeah, did you see him in Oakland? That isn't the same guy. You can say the same thing about Bob Melvin when he was in Arizona.
A lot of guys are very different,
They've all grown. So I find those two guys, Buck and Guerin, very interesting.
In the industry, right. You look at a bench coach is the conduit through all that information, has to do everything for the manager except be the
a lot of
final
stuff
guy.
coming through.
Imagine Steinbrenner
coming through.
Imagine Steinbrenner. That would have been something.
We saw that, didn't we, for a few years?
He had like the Daily News and the Post as his Twitter.